don't have no Indians around now. Seems like they've put them all in different prisons. They run the preacher off, too. That's good. I got involved in a whole thing off of death row. When death row came down, we started sweat lodges. The sweat lodges were actually in the main lines that we walked when we went to death row. I met Walks on Top, and I've been in the Indian cell. I'm tricked by the Hindu.
Yeah.
The Hindu comes over and says he's the Indian. And the United States is not America. That's a business that came over here from Europe. They called me up from the grave and said, "Do you want to go work in the chapel?" And I said, "Yeah." And they've got a guy in there that's got a hammer. He's broke out all the windows, and he swore to kill the first guy that come in there and try to stop him. And everybody ran. This big old guy called, and they took me out of the back cells and the dungeons and took me down to the chapel and fed me full of bullshit, opened up the door, pushed me through, slammed it behind me, and locked it. And said, "There, Chief, say you want to kill one of them white motherfuckers, there's one of them there. Do him in." The Chief says, "You want to fight me?" And he said, "No." He said, "Well, then shut the fuck up. Get away." So they all left and left me with him, you dig? He said, "They won't let us have our sweat lodges. We're not going to let them have their churches, their chapel." So I didn't know this. He said it was his ground, it was his area, and that he would decide what was going on. And he's got all these guys convinced that the original Hindus were Aryan. Did you ever hear that? I'm just a dumb old hillbilly. I don't have any idea what the hell I'm doing. The only thing that got me into the Indian is I used to go visit my mother in the Indian mounds, Phil. When they took me down there, and Dead Grass said, "Well, I'm already committed." I said, "Man, they got Travis Air Force Base over there, man. They just come over and bomb this place. They don't care about you."
Yeah.
He said, "I'll whip all of them." I said, "You whip all of them in this level. But you ain't going to whip all of them in the other level. They got missiles and shit. See? And it's going to be a full-scale riot here, you know." I said, "Oh, no, we don't need that, man." And I told him, "How would you like to come out in my garden?" He said, "Yeah, I would." I said, "Well, then call me a hug everybody," and we started all over again. They took me back to the dungeon. The next day I got up to go back to work, and they said, "Oh, well, the preacher's gone. His mother died." So it took me about 6 months to get back to the chapel. And everybody was happy with me because they wouldn't let me go back to the chapel. They want to keep me locked up so long. Still got a sweat lodge over there from what I understand. But they didn't want to let me, they didn't want to let me out, man.